They hired inspectors who found mold but couldn't explain why it was only in the master bedroom and closet. Weird ventilation issue, one guy said while I stood there looking worried. By March, they were broken. Mom's doctor ordered her to move somewhere dry for her health. Dad's arthritis got so bad he went on disability. They had to sell the house at a loss because of the mysterious mold problem that kept coming back. The day before we moved, Dad found me sitting on the porch where he'd locked me out 100 times. I know it was you, he said. His hands were too swollen to make a fist. I pulled my coat tighter even though I wasn't cold. I don't know what you're talking about. You're the one who said I was too weak to handle winter. They split up after the move. Mom went to Arizona, and Dad moved in with his brother who kept the heat even higher. I went to live with my grandmother who never once locked me outside. I stopped being afraid of the cold until 3 months later, that is, because that's when my grandmother kicked me out. My parents had sent her evidence that I was a psychopath. She stood there with a manila folder thick with printed emails, her weathered hands trembling. The porch light cast harsh shadows across her face as she held up page after page. Photos of spray bottles I'd hidden under the sink, screenshots of my notebooks where I documented everything, videos from hidden cameras I didn't even know they'd installed. My stomach dropped as she showed me timestamps of me adjusting vents, spraying walls, programming the thermostat. I stood frozen on her porch while she explained how my parents had contacted her weeks ago, building their case. They'd hired a private investigator who found the hardware store receipts. They'd gotten statements from the inspectors about the suspicious mold patterns. They'd even tracked down the laundromat owner from years ago who remembered a girl studying HVAC manuals at 3 a.m. My grandmother's voice shook as she told me I had 1 hour to pack. She couldn't harbor someone who'd tried to call their own parents. The word call hit me like ice water. I hadn't tried to call anyone. I'd fought back the only way I knew how. I packed mechanically, shoving clothes into a backpack while my mind raced. In the bathroom, I noticed my grandmother's arthritis medication on the counter, the same brand my father took. For a moment, I considered proving my point. One opened window, one damp towel in her heating vent. Let her see how it felt, but I left everything untouched. I wasn't going to become what they said I was. The bus station at midnight was emptier than I'd expected. I watched my breath fog in the winter air while other travelers huddled in their coats. A security guard eyed me suspiciously. 14 years old with a backpack and no adult. I bought a ticket to the next city with cash I'd saved from selling my parents' old electronics online. I texted Maya, my only friend from school. Her response came immediately. Her parents had seen the news reports my parents were spreading. They'd forbidden her from contacting me. Every bridge I had was already burning. I found a 24-hour laundromat and curled up in a corner booth. The owner, an elderly woman named Carol, found me at 3 a.m. Instead of calling the police, she brought me coffee and sat across from me. She recognized the look of someone whose parents had failed them. When she asked if I needed help, I nodded. Carol ran an underground network for runaway teens from a converted space in an abandoned mall.